Hey everybody, welcome back to Flash Tutorials with Alan Becker. Today we are going to be learning something very unique and cool, and what we're going to be learning is how to make icons move. So this is something that I've gotten a few requests for, so I'm going to do it because it's pretty cool. And most people probably are asking it because they saw this. And they probably want to recreate that. So first off, I just want to say that it is not that easy, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience to do it. But once you can do it, it's pretty cool. So to begin, first you need your icons. So let's get some icons. So first we got to go to the desktop and have some screenshots of icons. So let's say I just want to make a replica of Google Chrome and make it like bounce around or something. So first I just got to hit print screen, and then I go back into Flash, and then I hit paste. So now I have my screenshot. So Google Chrome is down here. Let's bring it back to the center. And then we create a new layer on top of it and put the screenshot on its own layer and lock the layer. So let's zoom in, Control plus or whatever. Looks like it's very low quality, and the reason is because it is compressed. So we go to where it is, and we go to Properties, and then under Properties we change the compression from photo JPEG to lossless, and if you want, allow smoothing also. So it looks a lot nicer now. So first we need to vectorize this icon, which means turn it into Flash lines and circles and vectors instead of having pixels. This allows it to be easier manipulated. So what we're going to do is outline all of these lines that are in it and then fill them in. So I'm going to take the line tool and change it to like a bright color that isn't on here so it's easy to see, and I'm going to zoom in some more, and I'm going to use the oval tool. I'm going to start in the center, and then I'm going to hold down Alt. And what Alt does is it puts the center in the center, and then I'm going to go to the outside until I hit where the outside is, and it looks like there's a fill in it, and I don't want the fill, so I'm going to click on it and delete it. I'm going to double click the circle, move it around until it looks about right, and then I'm going to let's just make another circle. Go to the center, about the center right there, hold down Alt and put it here. Also hold down Shift if you want to make it a perfect circle, automatically perfect. Whoa, that was weird. Okay, going to delete that. Maybe I should just turn this to no fill, and going to scale that with the Q key and make it proportional by holding down Shift. So that looks about good. What I want to do is make an outside line for the white and an inside line for the white. So I'm going to duplicate this by Control C and then Control Shift V. And that pastes it into place. It looks like nothing happened, but it actually did. If I hold down Shift and then resize it, I also hold down Alt. Wow, there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts that go into this. I didn't really realize that. Anyway, so now we have the white. So for this line, I want it to snap to these points, so I'm going to go here and then snap to objects is turned on. I'm going to draw a line here and connect it right there. I hope that connected. Anyway, this one too, and this one. Alright, good. So now what we do is we double click the whole thing, press V, and then double click it, and then hold down Shift and click this one to add it to the selection. And what we're going to do is move it aside. Now we have our line and our reference. So we are going to fill in these spaces with these colors with the color picker. So if I go here and let's just take any color. Actually, let's just fill it in to begin with. Oh, looks like that line isn't perfectly matched up, so now it is. You know what? We can actually just fill in the whole thing because it doesn't actually matter until we go to the color thing and change it to a gradient, because we're going to make these all into gradients. This one looks like a radial gradient, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to press F, move this up, and change the black to this color and the white to this color. So double click on this right here, and then drag or just move the eyedropper tool to right there. Double click on the white, and then put it there. So it looks about right. Now I'm going to go. I'm going to press V, press this one, and then do the same thing. Change it to a radial gradient, and it changed it to this radial gradient. But we're going to change the colors by double clicking this and changing it to maybe this color, and then double clicking this one, and then trying to get the darkest possible shade of yellow that you can find. And that looks about right. It's really hard to tell, but I think it would help if we made it more fit to the size. Yeah, and maybe move this one out. Yeah. Okay, so click on this one and then change it to a linear gradient, change it to the yellow, but that's okay. I'm gonna double click this one, make it the inner green, double click this one, make it the darker green, and change that. Oh, it looks like it's a linear. I didn't mean to do that. Radial. And do that. Yeah. Okay, so this one actually looks like it's probably a linear gradient, and so we're going to hit F and then change it from top to bottom like that. Make the top color this color and the bottom color this color. That looks good. And now we change this this red to white. So that looks about right. Now we don't need these lines anymore, so we get rid of them. And look at that. Look at that. It is pretty much the same thing. So now what we can do is turn this into a symbol. I will call it Chrome, and put it there. So now what we got to do is when we want this to move, and it's going to move, when it moves it'll have this picture behind it, and it'll be like, what the heck? It just duplicated itself. What we got to do is add a background to it. So let's put a new layer in between the screenshot layer and the icon layer, and just make a square or a circle or whatever, and put it there. And get rid of the line, double click the line, get rid of it, and whatever your background is, it might be more complex than this, but this is a pretty simple background. So I'm gonna, okay, let's see, what if we just pick a color from here and change it to that color. It looks like it works for certain spots but not for others, so I think we need to make it into a linear gradient or something. So let's move it in the direction where the color is changing, and then pick a color here and pick a color here. Okay, that looks a little better. Maybe we need to change the angle. Maybe like that. That looks more or less accurate. Okay, that is good. So now we have our Chrome icon, and now we can just animate it. So let's say I just want it to pop out and then bounce or something. So I'm going to F6, and then actually I'm going to move the anchor point down here, press F6, make it go like that, and then drag this old keyframe here, then make it go up. And back down. I don't know. Let's just add some keyframes in, or classic twins in between that, see what it looks like. Good. So this will probably be faster and give it some eases. Cool. See, so that's how you can make a basic icon move. So other icons like this Firefox right here, I know people are probably looking at, um, is a bit more complex because it has a head and a tail and arms. And if you've seen my other tutorial with classic tweens, you saw how it has different symbols for each body part. So I can really quickly turn this into a vector and then show how to turn it into body parts. Well, when I said really quickly, it didn't mean it was going to take really quick, but I'll just quickly go over it. So let's vectorize this. So when you're doing abstract shapes like this, it's better to use the pen tool. So I have the pen tool here. I'm going to change the color to green because there's no bright green on this. And this picture right here is really low res, so I think it's better if you can to find a higher resolution version of it and put it over top. So I actually have one, and I'm going to get it out. Let's see, where is it? Right here. Yeah, that's quite a bit more high resolution. So I'm going to shrink it down to the size that I want it to be, and go from there. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing we did. Lock it down, and then use the pen tool. Okay, so I'm going to start at a random location. Okay, I'm going to start at a random location and work my way around. So with the pen tool, you're clicking points and then dragging to create curves. So I want the curve to look like that. And if I just click on the next one, it's going to warp it up there. So what I have to do is click on the point to get rid of that, and then it will be straight up and down like that. Okay, I want it to be pretty clean cut there too, so I'm going to click on that. I'm going to be doing this a lot. And for long curves like that, oh, forgot to do that. For long curves like that, you only need a few points. Alright, so now I've got a basic outline, and there are probably a bunch of other lines that I also want to get, so I'm just going to do those really quick as well. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to use the line tool now because the pen tool gets kind of tricky here. Um, and I'm going to make sure that snap to objects is on so I can just snap from here to here, and then use the selection tool to curve it a little bit. And let's see, I'm just going to do this really quick. Okay, yeah, that looks good enough. So now we just got to do the same thing we did before. Move it aside and then fill in those colors. So I'm just going to do that as well. Okay, so first I just got to fill it in with a random color. Make sure all these are individual things. That one is not linked, so gotta link it. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use linear gradients by picking the colors. Yep, that looks good. For this one, looks like we need to kind of corner it off into its own little shape so that we can get this individual gradient. Yeah, that actually looks good, but just to make sure, let's pick that color, pick this color. Yeah. For this, so yeah, I'm speeding up this video. Right now I'm just doing a voiceover. So what you can kind of see is that I'm doing the same thing over and over, which is applying a gradient to each shape and then picking colors from the reference to match the gradient. And I'm doing it for every shape. Right now I got to get the color of the tail, so it's going to be more than 2 colors. I'm doing 3 and 1 in the middle, like that. And then I think what I actually do is copy that color and then put it into my color like that. Did you see that? So now I'm actually filling using the paint bucket tool with a gradient, and that's very convenient. Alright, good. That looks good. So let's delete the lines, and we have our Firefox. Okay, so actually this arm isn't done yet, so I'll do that really quick. Okay, yeah, anyway. Now we have our pieces. Oh crap, I didn't do the nose yet. Okay. Okay, so now we have our pieces, And what we got to do is separate them into different layers. So first I think I'm just going to separate the arm or the paw from the rest of the body. So I just select these two, holding down Shift, and then convert it to a symbol by pressing F8. Firefox paw. Now we have that, and maybe we can separate his body kind of along this line. It's kind of really kind of tricky. Actually, maybe I'll just take off his head. Yeah. I'll use the lasso tool. Press L, and then grab what you want. Okay. F8. Firefox head. That'll be his head. And so we have these two that are symbols, and the rest of it is still vectors or shapes. So see, I can take off his head if I want. Maybe I'll separate his tail out into another symbol, like that. Deselect that and reselect that. Deselect that. And Firefox tail. And then the rest of it, I will just select all and then deselect what I've already made. And then F8, Firefox body. Bosey. Okay, so yeah. Now, if I want it to animate, then there needs to be some overlap, or else whenever I move his paw, it'll have like empty space there. So I need to put stuff behind it. So if I double click it, all I need to do is drag this out, and he has a little bit more paw. I will create another point there so I can kind of make it wider, and I can get rid of that later. Okay, and now conveniently it is below, so we won't see it above. And his head, yeah, I don't know. First, I think we just need to move it around and see how it works. So it's kind of limited because his head can't turn unless I redraw the entire face with a turned head. But we can do something, I think. First, I need to separate him onto different layers. And what I can do to do that is right-click when I select all of them, and then distribute to layers. And then that puts them all on their own layer. And I think I will put them all in a folder, just cause. Yeah. So let's move them around. I'm going to go down this whole list and then click F6, and then I'm going to move his head, move his body, rotate it. Wow, this is gonna suck. Move his tail, rotate it, and move his arm. Looks like it's pretty tricky, but let's see how that looks. Just to humiliate myself. Oh, cool. Okay, so he's moving, and let's take away that and then make him go down a little bit first. So rotate his head down, rotate his thing up, rotate this like that, and then so he kind of goes down, and then rotate the whole thing a little bit. I'm going to take off snap to object so it doesn't snap every time. Go down a little, go up. Give it another keyframe, and then, I don't know, move his head like that, move his arm like that, like that. So let's give it all classic tween. It looks ugly. Okay, so what we need to do now is kind of clean up a little bit. So it looks like his head should be above his body. So that looks a little better there. And this issue right here is kind of tricky. Um, I think what we have to do is extend his body so that there is no clear sign that he is overlapping. I don't know what's going on here. Just play around with these points. It gets really messy sometimes. What you can do is hit A and then look at all the points and then delete some. Oops. That makes it a lot cleaner. Okay, yeah, now he has more of a, yeah, good looking body. And, yeah, the back side of him is kind of messy no matter what. Actually, we can just reduce it to a simple shape. I'm just going to take the pencil tool and then draw a shape and then press I, pick that color and just fill it in. And then just get rid of this excess and the line. So now his butt kind of has shape, and then we put the tail over top of the body. So that looks a little better. So, who knows, maybe that made it look better. A little bit. I think maybe we can try to just get rid of this part entirely. And then just kind of move it around a little bit. Yeah, so I think you probably get a sense of how to animate your own icon in Flash. And you get a kind of a sense of how much work it is and how much time it takes. So I think in future tutorials I can teach you more advanced techniques of animating things like this, things that have multiple symbols for different body parts. But I think that's it for now, and I'm trying to post tutorials once a week, but I can't guarantee that I will have a video every week, but I will try my best. So stay tuned everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.